Billionaire arrived at Disney World for a meeting, until he saw his ex with a baby. The radiator in Lena's apartment had been making that same grinding noise for 3 weeks now. She'd gotten used to it, the way it kicked on at 6 a.m. like clockwork, rattling the pipes in the wall behind her bed. Winter Park wasn't cold enough to need heat most days, but the landlord kept it running anyway. And she'd learned not to fight battles that didn't matter. She was 29. She lived alone with Luca in a one-bedroom on the 2nd floor of a building that smelled like old carpet and someone else's cooking. The elevator worked maybe half the time. The parking lot had a crack running through it that nobody ever fixed. It was fine. It was what she could afford. Luca had been born in April, 7 months ago now. The same month the cherry blossoms peaked in New York, back when she still thought maybe Evan would come around. He hadn't. Lena worked as a logistics coordinator for a corporate events company called Radius Group. It wasn't glamorous. Mostly it meant answering emails at weird hours, dealing with vendors who promised one thing and delivered another, and making sure rich people's conferences ran smoothly enough that they didn't notice all the chaos happening behind the scenes. She was good at it, good at staying calm when everything was falling apart, good at making problems disappear before anyone realized they existed. Her hair was always pulled back in a ponytail. Low maintenance, practical. She wore the same rotation of black pants and neutral tops because they didn't show stains and they didn't require thinking about. That was important when you had a 7-month-old who grabbed at everything and spit up at the worst possible times. Luca. He was awake now, making those little sounds he made when he wanted attention, but wasn't quite crying yet. Lena walked over to the crib wedged in the corner of her bedroom. There wasn't space for it anywhere else, and picked him up. He smelled like the baby lotion she'd put on him after his bath last night, the generic brand from Target that worked just as well as the expensive stuff. "Hey, buddy," she said quietly. "You're up early." He looked at her with those dark eyes that seemed way too alert for a baby, too focused, like he was taking notes. She kissed his forehead and carried him to the kitchen, which was really just one wall with a stove, a fridge, and about 2 feet of counter space. The coffee maker was already gurgling. She'd set it on a timer the night before because mornings were hard enough without waiting for caffeine. She poured herself a cup, burned her tongue on the first sip like she always did. Today was gonna be long. She had a client meeting in Orlando, not the fun part of Orlando, the corporate part, out near the convention center and the big chain hotels that all looked the same inside. The client was flying in from Munich for some international tech conference at one of the Disney resort hotels, and Lena's job was to make sure everything ran like clockwork, transportation, itinerary, the room setup, all of it. And she had to bring Luca. Her mom was supposed to watch him, but she'd called yesterday saying she threw her back out and couldn't lift anything heavier than a coffee cup. Lena's options were find a last-minute babysitter she didn't trust, or bring him along and hope nobody made a big deal about it. She'd gone with option 2. The client had kids. She'd be fine with it. Probably. Lena shifted Luca to her hip and started getting ready. She moved through the apartment on autopilot. Diaper bag, extra clothes, bottles, the toys he didn't scream without. Her phone buzzed on the counter. A text from her boss. "Client lands at 9. Don't be late." She wasn't gonna be late. She was never late. That was kind of the whole point of her job. By 7:30, she was in the car. A 2014 Honda Accord, with a dent in the passenger door she'd never gotten fixed, and a check engine light that had been on for 6 months. It ran fine. That was all that mattered. Luca was strapped into his car seat in the back, already gnawing on one of those teething rings that was supposed to help, but probably didn't. The drive to Orlando took 40 minutes in light traffic. She took Colonial Drive because the tolls on 408 added up fast, and she'd learned to pick her battles with money, the same way she'd learned to pick them with everything else. The radio was on low, some morning show she wasn't really listening to. Her mind was already running through the day. Check in at the hotel, confirm the meeting rooms, make sure the catering didn't screw up the dietary restrictions. She pulled into the parking garage at the Grand Floridian a little before 9. The place was massive, all white columns and fake Victorian charm, the kind of hotel that cost more per night than she made in a week. She grabbed the diaper bag, hoisted Luca onto her hip, and headed inside. The lobby smelled like expensive candles and air conditioning. Families were everywhere, kids in Mickey ears, parents looking exhausted and overstimulated. A little girl was crying near the front desk. Someone's stroller had tipped over. Lena kept walking, making her way toward the conference wing where the real business happened, the part of the resort that didn't have anything to do with fairy tales or fireworks. Her phone buzzed again. The client. Landed early. Heading to hotel now. Great. That gave her maybe 20 minutes to make sure everything was set. She walked faster, Luca bouncing slightly against her side. He was heavier than he used to be. Her shoulder was already starting to ache. She turned a corner near the meeting rooms, scanning for the right hallway, and didn't see the man coming the other way until it was too late. She collided with him, not hard, but enough that she stumbled, her grip on Luca tightening instinctively. Papers scattered, his papers. A folder hit the floor. "Oh my God, I'm so—" The apology died. She looked up, and everything stopped. Evan. He was standing there in a grey suit that fit too well, hair shorter than she remembered, but the same face, the same everything. He stared at her like he'd just walked into a wall. His mouth opened. Nothing came out. Lena's heart was pounding so hard she could feel it in her throat. Luca shifted in her arms, making a small sound, and Evan's eyes dropped. To the baby. The recognition was instant. She saw it happen in real time, the shock, the confusion, the math. His gaze moved from Luca's face to hers and back again. His jaw tightened. Lena. It wasn't a question. It was barely even a word. She didn't know what to say, didn't know if there was anything to say. She'd imagined this moment 100 times, what she'd tell him, how she'd explain, what he'd do. But none of those versions had involved Disney World or a business meeting, or her standing here with their son in her arms, while he looked at her like she'd just detonated a bomb in the middle of his life. "What are you—" He stopped, shook his head, tried again. "What are you doing here?" "Working," she said. Her voice came out steadier than she felt. "You?" "Meeting." The word hung there, flat, empty. Luca made another sound, louder this time, and reached for the folder on the floor. Evan bent down and picked it up, his movements stiff, mechanical. When he stood back up, he didn't look at her. He looked at Luca, and she could see it. The question he wasn't asking, the one he didn't want to ask. People walked past them. A woman in a conference badge, a couple with a toddler. Nobody noticed. Nobody cared. Lena adjusted her grip on Luca. "I should go. My client's waiting." Evan didn't move. "How old is he?" 7 months. The math was obvious. She didn't need to spell it out. His eyes finally met hers. "Lena, I gotta go," she said again, and this time she meant it. She stepped around him, moving fast, her pulse still hammering in her ears. She made it maybe 10 feet before she heard his voice behind her. "Wait." She didn't stop. The diaper bag slipped off her shoulder. Lena made it to the conference room before her hands started shaking. She set Luca down in his stroller and tried to focus. The client would be here in 10 minutes. She needed to pull herself together. But all she could see was Evan's face. She pulled out her phone. 3 texts from her boss. Her thumb hovered over Evan's name in her contacts. Still there after all this time. She locked the screen. Ms. Brenner walked in, phone to her ear. German accent. Lena straightened, went into autopilot. "Ms. Brenner?" The woman nodded. Lena gestured to the setup. Everything was perfect. "Ms." Brenner finished her call. "Good. This will work." Luca started fussing. Her phone buzzed. Then again. "You need to take that?" Ms. Brenner asked. "No, I'm good." But she wasn't. Luca was crying now. "I'm sorry," Lena said, picking him up. Ms. Brenner waved a hand. "Children are children. I have 3, I know." Her phone buzzed a 3rd time. She pulled it out. One from a number she didn't recognize. "We need to talk." No name. She didn't need one. "Ms. Whitaker?" Lena looked up. "Sorry. Yes, the schedule." She walked through it, professional, like her world hadn't just tilted sideways. When Miss Brenner left, Lena sat down. Luca had stopped crying. She typed a reply. Not a good time. I'm still in the hotel. I'm working. Just 5 minutes. Please. Please? When had Evan ever said please? She typed back. Garden behind the lobby, 20 minutes. The garden was quiet. Manicured hedges, a fountain. Lena pushed the stroller along the path. The Florida heat was oppressive. Luca was fussing. She saw Evan before he saw her. He was standing near the fountain, hands in his pockets. He looked tired, worn down. She stopped a few feet away. He turned. Saw her. Saw Luca. Thanks for coming, he said finally. She nodded. I didn't know you were in Orlando. I live here, Winter Park. Since when? Since I couldn't afford New York anymore. The words came out sharp. He flinched. Evan rubbed the back of his neck. Is he mine? There it was. Yeah. The word hung there, small, massive. You didn't tell me. I tried. You called once. I called 4 times. I texted. I emailed. Her voice was level, calm. You told me I was confused, that it didn't make sense. That's exactly what you said. Evan looked away. He was rattled. You didn't think I was telling the truth, Lena finished. I know. Luca made a sound. Evan stared at him, something uncertain, something almost afraid. Can I? He gestured at the stroller. Lena stepped aside. Evan crouched down, eye level with Luca. The baby reached out. Evan just looked at him. He has my eyes, Evan said quietly. Yeah. He stood back up. Why didn't you push harder? Because I shouldn't have to, Lena said. I told you the truth. You decided it wasn't. I had a baby to take care of. I didn't have time for that. So you just gave up. I survived. The words sat between them. Heavy. Evan ran a hand through his hair. She remembered that gesture. He did it when he was stressed, when things weren't going according to plan. I don't know what you want me to say, he said finally. I don't want you to say anything. Lena adjusted the stroller. You asked if he was yours. I told you, that's it. I'm not asking you for anything. Lena! I have to get back to work. She started to turn. He caught her arm. Not hard. Just enough to stop her. Wait. She looked at his hand on her arm. He let go immediately. I need time, he said, to process this. Okay. That's it? Just okay? What do you want me to say? She was so tired. Bone tired. The kind that sleep didn't fix. You need time. Fine. Take time. I've had 7 months. You can have whatever you need. She could see him trying to read her, trying to figure out if she was angry. She wasn't. Anger would have required energy she didn't have. Are you staying in Orlando? He asked. I live here. I mean tonight. Are you going home? Depends on how long this meeting runs. Evan nodded slowly. I'm here until tomorrow afternoon. Conference. I can't leave early. Okay. Can I see you again, before I go? Lena looked at Luca. He was chewing on his fist again, oblivious to the fact that his entire world was shifting. Maybe that was better. Maybe it was good that he was too young to remember this. If you want, she said. I do. She pulled out her phone. Give me your number. You have my number. I deleted it. That wasn't true, but it felt true enough. He rattled off the digits. She typed them in, sent a test text. His phone buzzed in his pocket. I'll text you later, he said. Okay. She turned to go. This time he didn't stop her. Miss Brenner's meeting ran until 4. Lena sat in the parking garage for a minute. Luca was asleep in the back. Her phone buzzed. Evan, are you free tonight? I can't get a sitter. Bring him. Where? There's a bar in Winter Park, the Brixton, 7:30? Fine. At 7:15, she loaded Luca back in the car. The Brixton was 5 minutes away. She parked on the street and headed inside. The place was busy. Music, too loud. Lena spotted Evan at a corner table. Dark jeans, navy button-down. He stood when he saw her. Hey. She sat down across from him. Luca was in her arms, wide awake. Evan's eyes kept drifting to him. "You want something to drink? Water's fine," he ordered. The waiter left. Silence. So, I've been thinking about what you said." Lena waited. "You're right. I should have listened." He stopped. "I'm sorry." The words sounded foreign coming from him. "Okay," Lena said. "That's it? What do you want me to say?" The waiter brought their drinks. "I want to be involved," Evan said, "in his life." "You don't even know him." "I know, but I want to." Lena set the glass down. "What does that mean? You're in New York. I'm here. You think you're going to fly down every weekend?" "I don't know. I haven't figured that part out yet." "Well, figure it out, because I'm not doing this halfway. If you're in, you're in." Evan met her eyes. "I'm in." She wanted to believe him. Luca started fussing. She shifted him. "He's teething." "Can I hold him?" She hesitated, then nodded. Evan came around the table. Lena handed Luca over. The baby whimpered. Evan held him awkwardly, arms too stiff. "It's okay, he's not going to fall." Evan adjusted. Luca's whimpering stopped. His tiny hand reached up and grabbed Evan's nose. Evan froze. Lena bit back a smile. "He does that. It hurts." "Yeah." Evan sat back down, still holding Luca. The baby settled against his chest. Evan looked down at him. His expression shifted. Softer. "He's really mine," Evan said quietly. "Yeah." They sat there, not talking. The bar noise filled the gaps. Luca fell asleep. "What now?" Lena asked finally. "I don't know. That's not good enough. I can come back next weekend if that's okay." "To do what?" "To see him. To see you, to figure this out. This isn't gonna be easy." "I know. Either you show up or you don't." "I'll show up." Luca stirred but didn't wake. "He's heavier than he looks," Evan said. "Yeah." "When did he start sleeping through the night?" "He doesn't. At all. He wakes up twice, sometimes 3 times. That sounds—" "It is what it is." Lena glanced at her phone. 8:47 p.m. "I should go." Evan handed Luca back. The baby woke up, started crying. Lena took him. He calmed down immediately. She grabbed the diaper bag. Evan stood. "I'll walk you out." They walked to the door. Her car was half a block away. She opened the back door, started strapping Luca in. "Lena." She looked up. "Thank you for telling me, finally. I told you the first time. I know." She closed the door, turned to face him. "Don't thank me. Just show up." She got in the driver's seat. The engine turned over on the second try. Evan flew back to New York the next morning. Lena knew because he texted her from the airport. "Wheels up, I'll call you." He didn't call that day or the next. By Friday, she'd convinced herself it didn't matter. Evan was good at showing up when it was convenient and disappearing when it wasn't. She was folding laundry when her phone rang. Unknown number. "Hello?" "Lena, it's Evan." The washing machine next door banged through the spin cycle. "Different number?" "Work phone. Listen, I'm coming back down." "When?" "Tomorrow. I land at 2. "Okay, for how long?" "Just the weekend." "So 48 hours. "Yeah. What do you want to do?" "I thought maybe I could take you guys out." "He gets cranky at restaurants." "Then we'll do something else, your call." "There's a park near my place, Lake Baldwin, 4 after his nap." 4 works. Pause. "Lena." "Yeah. I meant what I said. I'm showing up." She wanted to believe him. "Okay." Saturday came. At 3:45, she loaded Luca in the car. Lake Baldwin Park was 5 minutes away. Evan's Tesla was already there. He was standing near a picnic table, dark jeans, grey Henley. "Hey, hey!" Luca stared at him. No recognition. Evan let the baby grab his finger. "Strong grip," Evan said. "Yeah. You want to walk?" They headed toward the path around the lake. She carried Luca. Evan walked beside her. "So, how's work?" "Fine, busy." "Good." Silence. "What about you?" "Complicated. I've been trying to figure out how to make this work. The distance. The schedule. And I don't have an answer yet." At least he was honest. Luca was getting heavy. She shifted him. You want me to take him? You sure? Yeah. She handed Luca over. Evan held him more naturally this time. The baby didn't cry. He's quiet, Evan said. He observes. Like you. They kept walking. I talked to my lawyer. She stopped. About what? Paternity. Custody. Her stomach tightened. Evan, he wants a paternity test. Standard procedure. Said it protects both of us legally. Okay. Okay? Yeah, we should do it. You should have proof. Lena, I believe you. I know, but do it anyway. They did the test 3 days later. A lab tech came to her apartment, swabbed Evan's cheek, then Luca's. 2 days after that, Evan called. Got the results. And? 99.9%. Silence. I'm sorry, he said quietly. For what? For needing proof. You should have needed proof. Can I come over? Yeah. When he showed up, he had the paperwork, official lab results. He set them on her kitchen table. There, now it's real. It was always real. I know, but now it's legal. She picked up the paper, looked at the numbers. Okay, what now? Now we figure out the rest. I'm not trying to take him from you, he said. I just wanted to know what the options are, what's fair. Fair. Yeah. She started walking again, faster. I've been doing this alone for 7 months. I didn't need a lawyer to tell me what's fair. I know. Do you? I want to be involved, Lena, really involved. But I live in New York, my company's there, I can't just move. I'm not asking you to. Then what are you asking? Good question. They reached a bench, sat down. Luca started to fuss, hungry probably. I need to feed him. She pulled a bottle out. Luca latched on immediately. Evan watched. You make that look easy. It's not. A duck waddled past. Luca's eyes followed. I don't know what you want from me, Lena said quietly. It means I'm trying. I'm trying to do this right. There is no right. There's just showing up. I'm here for 48 hours. It's a start. Luca finished the bottle. She lifted him to her shoulder, patting his back. He burped, then spit up on her shirt. Great. Evan handed her a napkin. Thanks. Can I ask you something? Depends. Why didn't you push harder when I didn't believe you? Because I was scared. I was scared you'd take him. Or fight for him just because you could, and I couldn't risk that. Evan didn't say anything. I wouldn't have done that. You don't know what you would have done. You didn't even believe he was yours. I was wrong. Yeah, you were. Silence. I want to do better. I don't know how yet, but I want to try. Then try. I am. She believed him. That made everything harder. They stayed until almost 6. Evan pushed Luca on the baby swings while Lena watched. When they left, Evan walked them to the car. What are you doing tomorrow? Laundry, groceries, the usual. Can I come over? She hesitated. To my apartment. Yeah. I want to see where he lives. What time? 11. He sleeps late on Sundays. 11 works. She unlocked the car, started strapping Luca in. Evan stood close, not too close. She could smell his cologne, cedar and something else. This is strange, right? Yeah, but we're doing it anyway. Yeah. A car pulled in, music blasting. I'll see you tomorrow, he said. Okay. She got in the car, watched him walk to the Tesla. The drive home took 7 minutes. Luca fell asleep immediately. Sunday morning came with rain. Lena woke to it hitting the window. Luca was still asleep. She made coffee, tried to make the apartment less like a disaster. Someone knocked. 11 a.m. exactly. She opened the door. Evan stood there, soaked. It's pouring. I noticed. Can I? Yeah, come in. Luca started crying from the bedroom. I'll be right back. She came back with the baby. Luca stopped crying when he saw Evan. He remembers you, Lena said. You think? Maybe. Evan set his jacket down. Can I hold him? She handed Luca over. The baby grabbed Evan's shirt. Hey, buddy, Evan said quietly. Lena went to the kitchen. You want coffee? Yeah. They sat on the couch. The rain kept coming. This is where you've been. The whole time. Yeah. It's not what I pictured. Can't afford bigger or newer. He looked at her. If you need, I don't. Lena. I said I don't. He nodded. Didn't push. Luca started squirming. Lena took him back, put him in the bouncer. He's teething. Everything goes in his mouth. Does it hurt? For him or for me? Both. Yeah, both. Evan smiled. They sat there, not talking, just existing. The rain slowed. Sunlight broke through. I've been thinking, Evan said, about moving some things around, work stuff, so I can be here more. What does that mean? Maybe open an office down here, or work remote. I'm still figuring it out. That's a big change. I know. You don't have to do that. I want to. Luca fussed again. She changed his diaper. When she came back, Evan was looking at the photos on her fridge. Ultrasound images. You kept these? Yeah. Can I have one? She blinked. Seriously? Yeah. She pulled one off, handed it to him. He looked at it, then folded it and put it in his wallet. Thank you. It's just a picture. It's not. The afternoon stretched on. They ordered Thai food, ate it while Luca napped. By evening, Evan's phone rang. He ignored it. It rang again. He turned it off. You didn't have to do that. Yeah, I did. When it was time for Evan to leave, neither moved. I should go, he said finally. Yeah. But he didn't get up. Just sat there, Luca asleep in his arms. I don't want to. I know. This is harder than I thought. What is? Leaving. Lena didn't say anything. Evan stood carefully, handed the baby to her. Their hands touched. Briefly. I'll call you. Okay. He grabbed his jacket, walked to the door, stopped. Lena? Yeah? Thank you for letting me in. She nodded. He opened the door. The hallway light flickered. 3 weeks passed before Evan came back. Not because he didn't want to. He called every other day, FaceTimed when he could. Luca was almost 8 months now, starting to pull himself up, almost crawling. Everything was changing so fast. She'd text Evan updates. He stood up for 5 seconds today. Evan always responded, always asked questions. The 3rd weekend in November, he flew down. Thursday night this time, 4 days. Lena picked him up from the airport. Luca in the back seat chewing on his giraffe teething ring. Just grab my bag, be out in 5. 10 minutes later he walked through the doors. Dark jeans, black jacket. He looked tired. Hey, rough flight? Delayed in Atlanta. He got in. Looked back at Luca. Hey buddy. Luca grinned. He definitely remembered now. Where am I dropping you? What do you mean? Your hotel. Evan was quiet. I didn't book one yet. Evan, I thought maybe... He stopped. Never mind. Just drop me anywhere. She could have, should have. You can stay at my place. He looked at her. Yeah? The couch pulls out. You sure? No. Yeah. The apartment felt smaller with Evan in it. She tossed sheets on the couch. Bathrooms down the hall. Luca was on the floor with blocks. Evan crouched next to him. The baby handed him a block. It was 9 past bedtime. Lena scooped Luca up. I'm going to put him down. Make yourself at home. She went through the routine. When she came back, Evan had pulled the couch into a bed. He go down, okay? Yeah. She sat across from him. So, 4 days. Yeah. What do you want to do? I still have to work Friday. Conference call at 10. I can watch him. You sure? I'm here. Might as well be useful. You ever changed a diaper? There's a first time for everything. Friday morning, Lena woke to Luca crying. 6:47 a.m. She opened the door. Evan was already up, standing over the crib. You want me to... I got it. He picked Luca up. The baby stopped crying. Evan carried him to the changing table. You know what you're doing? How hard can it be? She walked him through it. He fumbled, got peed on. Luca thought it was hilarious. This is disgusting. Welcome to parenthood. By the time he finished, the diaper was crooked, but it was on. You did good, liar. You did okay. Her conference call started at 10. Evan took Luca to the living room. When she finally closed the laptop, it was noon. Evan was on the floor, surrounded by toys. "How'd it go?" "Fine, how'd he do?" "He spit up on me twice." "So good? You hungry?" "Starving." "There's a deli down the street. Garcia's best Cuban sandwiches in Winter Park." It was mid-November. The heat had finally broken. Florida's version of fall. They ordered at the counter. Cuban for Evan. Media noche for her. "This place is great. How'd you find it?" "My landlord." The sandwich was huge. Still perfect. "I'm sorry I wasn't there," Evan said. "We've been through this. I mean all of it. When you were pregnant, when he was born, all of it. You can't change it. So why keep apologizing?" "Because I need you to know I get it now." Luca dropped a cracker. Lena picked it up. "What do you want from me, Evan?" "What do you mean? What is this? You flying down every few weeks. What are we doing?" "I'm trying to be a father." "I know that. But what about the rest?" "The rest?" "Us. What are we?" The word hung there. "I don't know." "That's not good enough. What do you want me to say?" "I want you to be honest." "I'm being honest. I don't know what we are." A pregnant couple walked past. "I don't want to mess this up," Evan said quietly. "Mess what up?" "This. Whatever this is. I just got you back. Got him. I don't want to screw it up." "There is no right move. There's just what happens next." "What do you want to happen next?" "I want you to keep showing up, not just for him, for both of us." "I can do that." "Can you?" "Yeah." The rest of Friday passed in a blur. Target run for diapers. That night, pizza. They watched some show. Luca fell asleep between them. "This is nice," Evan said. "Yeah, domestic. Don't get used to it," but she kinda hoped he would. Saturday, Evan wanted to take them somewhere. Surprise, they drove south, down 417. 40 minutes later, Cocoa Beach. "You brought us to the beach." "Yeah, it's November. It's 70 degrees. They walked down to the sand. Luca in a hoodie too big for him. Evan carried him to the water's edge. The baby's eyes went wide. Lena pulled out her phone, took pictures. "What do you think, buddy?" Luca reached for the water. Evan let him touch it. The baby jerked back, tried again. They stayed an hour. Walked the shoreline, ate terrible hot dogs from the pier. On the drive back, Luca fell asleep. "I need to talk to you about something," Evan said. "Okay." "Money. I want to help. Financially, it's not charity, it's responsibility." "Evan, let me finish. I've been paying nothing for 7 months. You've been covering everything. I managed. But you shouldn't have had to. He's my son. My lawyer already brought it up. Child support, it's standard. Your lawyer. It's a responsibility thing. If you won't let me do it informally, we'll do it formally." She thought about the bills, daycare, formula, everything. "Okay. But we do this right. Legal, documented. It won't be weird. It's just taking care of him." "And custody?" He mentioned it. I told him we'd figure it out ourselves. When Evan dropped her off, he texted 10 minutes later. A number, the monthly amount. She texted back, "Okay." He responded, "First payment." Monday. Sunday morning, Lena woke to coffee smell. Evan was making breakfast. Eggs, toast, fruit. "You cook now?" "I'm learning." They ate. Luca gummed his toast, dropping crumbs. "I've been thinking," Evan said. "About?" "About what you said about showing up." "Okay. I want to do more than just visit. I'm opening a satellite office in Orlando, Lake Nona." She stared at him. "You're what?" "I'm moving part of my company down here, enough that I can work from Florida a few days a week." "When did you decide this?" "A couple weeks ago. I didn't want to say anything until I knew." "You're serious?" "Yeah. You're moving here." "It's partially. I'll still go back to New York sometimes, but I'll be here more." "Why?" "Because showing up once a month isn't enough. I don't want to be a visitor." "Evan." And I want to be here for you. Not just him. You. I know I don't deserve another chance, but if you'll let me, I want to try. Her throat felt tight. I mean it. I'm showing up. This time, she believed him. Monday came too fast. They spent the day at the park. Let Luca play in the sandbox. He ate sand twice. At 5, they headed to the airport. She pulled up to departures. Evan grabbed his bag. I'll call you tonight. Okay. He leaned into the back seat, kissed Luca on the forehead. Be good for your mom. He closed the door, looked at Lena. His hand came up, brushed hair behind her ear. His thumb lingered on her cheek. I'll see you soon, he said quietly. Okay. He leaned in. She thought he was going to kiss her. He kissed her forehead instead. Then he was gone. Lena got back in the car. Her hands shook. The airport security guard knocked on her window. 2 months later, mid-January, Evan's office in Lake Nona opened. Lena didn't go to the opening. She saw the pictures on Instagram. Minimalist furniture, glass walls. He was in Orlando 4 days a week now, sometimes 5. He'd rented a condo downtown but came over almost every day. Brought coffee, bagels, diapers when they were low. He was there when Luca said his first word. Dada. Of course. Lena pretended not to be annoyed. Evan couldn't stop grinning. He was there when Luca finally crawled. Really crawled. Across the living room, straight to Evan, who picked him up and spun him around like he'd won a gold medal. He was there for the hard stuff too. The nights when Luca wouldn't stop crying. The stomach bug that lasted 4 days. The fever that scared Lena so bad she almost took him to the ER at 2 a.m. Evan drove them. Sat in the waiting room for 3 hours. Everything came back fine, just a virus. He was showing up, like he said he would. And somewhere between diaper changes and late-night bottles, between playground trips and grocery runs, something shifted. By February, Luca was into everything. Opening cabinets, pulling books off shelves. Lena had to baby-proof the entire apartment in 1 weekend. Evan helped, complained about the cabinet locks, did it anyway. March came fast, warmer, longer days. Luca's first birthday was approaching. Maybe it didn't matter when. It just was. It was a Tuesday in January when everything changed. Lena had just put Luca down for his nap. She was folding laundry when Evan texted. You busy? Can I come over? He showed up 20 minutes later with 2 coffees and a bag from Panera. What's the occasion? Can't I just bring you lunch? You usually don't ask first. He sat down, ran a hand through his hair. That tell. He was nervous. What's wrong? Nothing's wrong, I've been thinking. About? About us. Her stomach flipped. Okay. We've been doing this for almost 4 months now. This co-parenting thing. And it's working, right? Yeah, it's working. Good. But I don't want it to just be co-parenting. I want to try again, with you, not because of Luca, because of you. She didn't know what to say. I know I screwed up. I know I hurt you. And I know saying sorry doesn't fix that. But I'm not the same person I was 2 years ago. And I think maybe you're not either. Maybe we needed to fall apart to figure out how to be together the right way. The right way. Yeah. What does that even mean? I don't know, but I want to find out. Lena stood, walked to the window. Someone's car alarm was going off in the lot. You really think we can do this? Yeah, I do. What if we screw it up? What if we try and it doesn't work, and then we can't even co-parent anymore? Then we figure it out, but I'd rather try and fail than spend the rest of my life wondering what if. She turned around, looked at him. I'm scared, she said quietly. Me too. What if you leave again? I'm not leaving. You don't know that. Yeah, I do. He stood, walked over to her, stopped a few feet away, close but not too close, giving her space to decide. I love you, he said. The words hung there. She'd never heard him say them before, not 2 years ago, not ever. I love you, and I love him. And I want to be here, not just for visits, not just 4 days a week. I want to be here with you if you'll let me. Her eyes were stinging. She blinked hard. Say something. Evan said, I don't know what to say. Say yes or say no, just say something. She looked at him, At this man who'd hurt her and left her and somehow found his way back. "Yes," she whispered. "Yeah, yeah." He closed the distance between them. His hands came up, cupped her face, his forehead touched hers. "You're sure?" he asked. "No, but I want to try." "That's good enough for me." He kissed her. Soft at first, testing, like he was afraid she'd pull away. She didn't. Her hands found his shirt, held on. The kiss deepened. When they finally broke apart, they were both breathing hard. "Wow," Evan said. "Yeah. I missed that." "Me too." They stood there, foreheads still touching. The air conditioner rattled. Somewhere down the hall, a door slammed. "What now?" Lena asked. "I don't know. What do you want?" "Honestly, I want you to stay. I can do that." "No, I mean really stay. Not just tonight. Not just this week." "Lena, I know what I'm asking, and I know it's fast, but I'm tired of slow. I'm tired of you being here and not being here. I want you all the way in or all the way out." Evan pulled back, looked at her. "You want me to move in? I want you to think about it." "I don't need to think about it. Evan, I'll do it. I'll give up the condo. I'll move in. Today if you want." "Today? Yeah. That's insane. Maybe. But so is everything else we've done." She almost laughed. He wasn't wrong. "Okay," she said. "Okay. Okay." He kissed her again. Longer this time. Deeper. His hands slid down to her waist. Hers went to his neck. They broke apart when Luca started crying from the bedroom. "I'll get him," Evan said. Evan moved in the following weekend. It wasn't dramatic, no truck, no movers, just a few suitcases and boxes. They cleared out space in Lena's closet, put his clothes next to hers. It felt strange, good strange. Luca didn't seem to notice, or maybe he did and didn't care. He just had both parents there now. The first few weeks were an adjustment. They had to figure out rhythms, who made coffee, who did dishes, who got up with Luca at 3 a.m. They argued about small things, forgot to communicate about big things, stepped on each other's toes, but they figured it out. Slowly, one day at a time. Luca turned 1 in April. They threw a small party. Just a few friends. Lena's mum. Evan's parents flew down. That was awkward at first, explaining everything, but they were good about it. Better than Lena expected. Luca smashed a cake, got frosting everywhere. Evan took about 1,000 pictures. Lena tried not to cry. Failed. This was what she'd wanted. A family. A real one. Not perfect, but real. One night in May, after Luca was asleep, they were lying in bed, Lena's head on Evan's chest, his hand in her hair. "You awake?" he asked. "Yeah, I've been thinking. That's dangerous." He laughed softly. "I want to ask you something." "Okay. Marry me." She lifted her head, looked at him. "What?" "Marry me." "Are you serious?" "Yeah." "Evan, I know it's fast. I know we're still figuring things out. But I don't want to wait. I spent 2 years not being with you. I'm not wasting any more time. That's not a proposal, that's a demand." "You're right." He shifted, got out of bed, grabbed something from his jacket pocket hanging on the chair, came back, got down on one knee, right there next to the bed in his boxers and t-shirt. "Lena Whitaker," he said, "will you marry me?" He opened a small box. A ring, simple, elegant, perfect. She stared at it, at him. "Yes," she said. "Yeah. Yeah." He slid the ring on her finger, kissed her hand, then her mouth, then pulled her back down to the bed. "I love you," he said against her lips. "I love you too." They got married 6 weeks later. July, courthouse in downtown Orlando. Lena wore a white sundress. Evan wore a suit. Luca wore a tiny bow tie that he pulled off 3 times before they even got to the ceremony. It was short, 10 minutes maybe. They said their vows, exchanged rings. The judge pronounced them married. They kissed. Luca clapped. He didn't know what was happening, but he was excited anyway. They had lunch after at that deli on Orange Avenue. Garcia's, same place they'd gone months ago. It felt right, full circle. "Mrs. Hiller," Evan said, raising his water glass, "don't get used to it. I'm keeping Whitaker professionally. Fair enough. To Mrs. Whitaker Hiller, then. That's a mouthful. To my wife. Better. They clinked glasses. Luca threw a piece of bread on the floor. Some things never changed. 6 months passed. Then a year. Then 2. Life happened. The messy, beautiful, ordinary kind of life. Luca started walking, then running, then climbing on everything. He said his first full sentence at 20 months. Dada, up. Close enough. Evan's company grew. He hired more people, opened another office in Tampa, traveled less, was home more. They bought a house in Winter Park, 3 bedrooms, a yard, a swing set, a neighborhood where kids rode bikes. Lena got promoted at work, started managing a bigger team, made more money, felt proud. They talked about having another kid. Not right away, but someday. Luca needed a sibling. They fought sometimes. About money, about schedules, about whose turn it was to do dishes, normal stuff. They'd apologize after. Talk it out, figure it out, that was the difference. They actually figured it out now. They were happy. Not perfect, but happy. And that was enough. It was a Sunday afternoon in December. Almost 3 years since that day at Disney World. They were at the park. Lake Baldwin. Luca was on the swings. Evan pushing him. "Higher, Dada!" Luca shouted. "Higher? Higher!" Lena watched from a bench, pulled out her phone, took a picture. Evan walked over, sat down next to her. Luca ran off to the slide. "He's going to give me a heart attack, Geen," she said. "He gets that from you." "What? The fearlessness or the heart attacks?" "Both." She leaned against him. His arm went around her shoulders. Automatic now. Natural. "You ever think about how different things could have been?" Lena asked. "All the time." "What do you think?" "I think we're lucky we got this." "Yeah, we are." Luca called out from the top of the slide. "Mama, watch! I'm watching, baby!" He slid down, landed at the bottom, jumped up, ran back to do it again. "He's got your eyes," Evan said, "and your stubbornness. Lucky kid. Very lucky." They sat there watching their son play, watching life happen all around them. "You happy?" Evan asked. Lena looked at him. "Yeah," she said. "I am." "Good, me too." He kissed her forehead, same spot he'd kissed that day at the airport, full circle. Luca came running back, crashed into Evan's legs. "Dada, come play." "Okay, buddy, let's go." Evan stood, took Luca's hand, looked back at Lena. "You coming?" "In a minute." She watched them go, father and son, walking toward the playground. Luca chattering away about something. Evan listening, really listening. She pulled out her phone, sent a text to her mom. "We're good, really good." The response came back immediately. "I'm so happy for you, sweetheart." Lena put her phone away, stood up, walked toward her family. The sun was starting to set, orange and pink streaking across the sky, the temperature dropping just enough to need a jacket. Winter in Florida. Not cold, just different. She reached Evan and Luca at the climbing structure. Luca grabbed her hand. "Mama, help me." "I got you, baby." She lifted him up. He climbed. She spotted. Evan stood next to her, the 3 of them together. A family. Not perfect, but real. And sometimes real was better than perfect anyway. Later that night, after Luca was asleep and they were getting ready for bed, Evan pulled her close. "Hey," he said. "Hey, thank you." "For what?" "For not giving up on me, even when I gave you every reason to. You came back. That's what matters. I should have never left. No, you shouldn't have. But you did. And you came back. And that's the story." Is it a good story? Yeah, it's a good story. He kissed her, soft, sweet, the kind of kiss that said "I love you" without words. They got into bed. Lena curled into him, his arms around her. Safe. Home. "Evan?" "Yeah?" "I'm glad you came back." "Me too." She closed her eyes. The last thing she heard before falling asleep was his breathing, steady, even. There. He was there. He stayed. 5 years later. The house on Summerlin Avenue had a crack in the driveway that Evan kept saying he'd fix. He never did. Lena stopped mentioning it. Some things weren't worth the fight. It was a Saturday morning in October, the kind of morning where the humidity finally broke, and Florida remembered it was supposed to have seasons. Lena was in the kitchen packing lunches, peanut butter and jelly for Luca, turkey sandwich for Maya, their daughter, 3 years old, named after Evan's grandmother, dark curls, Lena's smile, Evan's stubborn streak times 10. "Mama, I can't find my shoes," Luca yelled from upstairs. "Where did you leave them?" "I don't know." "Then look where you left them." 6 years old now, first grade, reading chapter books. Obsessed with dinosaurs and soccer and asking questions Lena didn't know how to answer. Why is the sky blue? Where do thoughts come from? When can I get a dog? The last one came up at least once a week. "Found them!" he shouted. Footsteps on the stairs. Too fast, always too fast. "Walk, please." "I am walking." He wasn't. Evan came down a minute later, Maya on his hip. She was still in pajamas. Princess ones, Elsa. Everything was Elsa lately. "Someone doesn't want to get dressed," Evan said. "I wonder where she gets that from," Lena muttered. "What's that supposed to mean? You fought me on getting dressed until you were 30. "That's not—" He stopped. "Okay, fair." Maya reached for Lena. She took her. The little girl wrapped her arms around Lena's neck and buried her face in her shoulder. Not a morning person. Definitely got that from Evan, too. "We have to leave in 20 minutes, Lena said. "I know. Which means she needs to be dressed in 10. "I know. Evan, I'm on it." He took Maya back, headed upstairs. Lena heard him negotiating. "What if you wear the blue dress? No? Okay. What about the pink one? Maya, you have to wear something." Lena smiled, finished packing the lunches, grabbed her coffee, still warm. Small victory. Luca came into the kitchen, shoes on, backpack ready. He'd learned to be responsible early. Had to, with a little sister who took up all the attention. "Can we stop for donuts?" he asked. "We're already running late." "Please." "Luca, please." "Mama?" She looked at him. Those eyes, Evan's eyes. How was she supposed to say no to those eyes? "Fine, but only if your sister gets dressed in the next 5 minutes. I'll go help." He ran back upstairs. Lena leaned against the counter, sipped her coffee, looked around the kitchen. Crayon drawings on the fridge, school calendar on the wall, photo from last Christmas, all 4 of them. Matching pajamas, cheesy as hell. She loved it. This was her life now. Chaos and noise and never enough time. But it was hers. Theirs. Evan came back down with both kids. Maya in the blue dress, Luca carrying her backpack. "We're ready," Evan said. "You sure?" 90% sure." "That's not comforting." "It's the best I can do." They loaded into the car. The Honda was long gone. They had an SUV now. Practical. Boring. Necessary when you had 2 car seats and a trunk full of sports equipment and groceries and everything else that came with having kids. Lena drove, Evan in the passenger seat, kids in the back. Maya was already falling asleep. Luca was looking out the window, probably thinking about dinosaurs or soccer or dogs. They stopped at the donut place on Park Avenue, the same one Lena used to pass on her way to work, back when she was alone with a baby and wondering how she'd make it through the day. She made it. They made it. Evan went in, came back with a box. Chocolate for Luca, sprinkles for Maya, glazed for him and Lena to split. "You got my favorite," she said. "I know your favorite." "After 7 years, you better." 8. "What?" 8 years, if you count from when we first met. She hadn't thought about it like that. But he was right. 8 years, 2 breakups, 1 reconciliation, 2 kids, 1 marriage. A whole life built from the wreckage of what they'd been. 8 years, she repeated. Long time. Not long enough. He smiled, reached over, squeezed her hand. They dropped Luca at school first. He ran off without saying goodbye, then remembered, ran back, hugged Lena, then Evan. "Love you guys," he called, already turning away. "Love you too," Lena called back. But he was gone. Into the building. into his life that was slowly becoming separate from theirs. That's what growing up was. She knew that. Didn't make it easier. Maya's preschool was 10 minutes away. Smaller drop-off, shorter goodbye. She clung to Lena for a second, then saw her best friend and forgot her parents existed. That was easy, Evan said as they got back in the car. Too easy. She's gonna have a meltdown later. You think? I know. They drove home. The morning quiet now. Strange. Lena couldn't remember the last time it was just the two of them in the car. No kids, no noise, just them. What do you want to do today? Evan asked. I have laundry. Lena. What? I do. The laundry can wait. What do you want to do? She thought about it. Remember that coffee shop in Winter Park? The one we went to before we got married? The one with the terrible muffins. They weren't that bad. They were hockey pucks. Okay, fine, they were bad, but the coffee was good. You want to go? Yeah, if you're free. I'm free. They went. The coffee shop looked exactly the same. Same mismatched furniture. Same indie music playing too loud. Same smell of burnt espresso and possibility. They ordered, found a table by the window, sat across from each other like they'd done 100 times before, but different now. Older, tireder, happier. This is nice, Lena said. Yeah. We should do this more often. We should do a lot of things more often. Like what? I don't know. Date nights, vacations, sleeping past 6 a.m. That last one's not happening for another decade. Don't remind me. She smiled. Took a sip of her coffee. Watched people walk past outside. A couple with a stroller, a jogger, a guy on his phone looking stressed. That used to be her. Stressed, always moving. Never quite keeping up. She still got stressed, still moved too fast. But it was different now. She had help. She had Evan. She had a life that felt like hers instead of something she was constantly chasing. You ever think about how we got here? She asked. All the time. What do you think? I think we got lucky. That's it? Just lucky? No. I think we worked our asses off. I think we hurt each other and forgave each other and chose each other even when it would have been easier not to. I think we built something that shouldn't have worked but did anyway. And yeah, I think we got lucky too. Lena looked at him, at this man who'd become her husband, her partner, her person, the one who showed up, who stayed, who chose them every single day. I'm glad you came to that meeting, she said quietly. At Disney World. Yeah, me too. Even though it was a disaster, especially because it was a disaster. She laughed. You're weird. You married me. Biggest mistake of my life. Liar. Yeah, I am. They finished their coffee, drove home, spent the day doing nothing important. Laundry, dishes, grocery shopping, the kind of boring, mundane stuff that made up a life. That night, after the kids were asleep and they were lying in bed, Evan pulled her close. Hey, he said. Hey, I love you. I know. I'm gonna keep loving you. I know that too. Good. She turned in his arms, looked at him in the dark. Evan? Yeah? Thank you. For what? For coming back. For staying. For all of it. You don't have to thank me for that. Yeah, I do. He kissed her forehead. Same spot he always kissed. The spot that meant I'm here, I'm not leaving. You're safe. I'm not going anywhere, he said. Promise? Promise. She believed him. She closed her eyes, his heartbeat steady against her ear. The house quiet around them. Their kids sleeping down the hall. Their life built brick by brick from the ruins of what they'd been. It wasn't perfect. It was never going to be perfect. But it was theirs. And that was everything. Sometimes the best love stories aren't the ones that start perfectly. They're the ones that survive imperfectly. The ones where two people fall apart and find their way back, not because it's easy, but because it's worth it. Where showing up matters more than grand gestures. Where forgiveness isn't given once, it's chosen every single day. Lena and Evan's story didn't begin at Disney World. It began 2 years earlier, in a relationship that ended badly. But it was reborn in that hallway when the past collided with the present and forced them both to face what they'd lost. They could have walked away, could have kept their distance, could have let fear win, but they didn't. Because some people are worth fighting for, some families are worth building, even when the foundation is cracked. Some love is worth the risk of breaking again. Not every story gets a second chance, but the ones that do, they're the ones that matter most. What about you? Have you ever gotten a second chance with someone you thought you'd lost forever? How did you know it was worth trying again? Your participation means a lot to the channel. Please share your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever gotten a second chance with someone you thought you'd lost forever? If Lena and Evan's journey made you believe in showing up, even when it's hard, subscribe and like this video. Drop a comment and tell us, would you have given Evan another chance?